She laughed. Not a nervous laugh. Not an awkward one. A sharp, confident laugh while pointing at my mom's oxygen concentrator in the boarding line. And that was the exact moment I realized this flight was about to turn into something I'd never forget. I'm traveling with my mother. That's the first thing you need to understand. She's small, quiet, the kind of woman who apologizes when other people bump into her. Her lungs are damaged from years of illness, and she needs an oxygen concentrator to breathe properly, especially at high altitude. The machine is approved, documented, labeled, and packed exactly the way the airline requires. We've done this before. WEC know the routine, or at least we thought we did. We were standing at the gate, early boarding already announced. Families, elderly passengers, medical needs, our group. My mom was holding the handle of her small rolling bag with one hand and the concentrator with the other. I was right beside her. Tickets open on my phone, watching her breathing like I always do in crowded places. That's when she appeared. You know the type before they even open their mouth. Perfect hair, arms crossed, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. She was maybe late 40s, dressed like she wanted everyone to know she flew often. The moment her eyes landed on my mom's machine, her face changed. First confusion, then judgment, then amusement. She leaned toward her companion and said loudly, "What is it?" Then she laughed. I looked at her, waiting for her to lower her voice. She didn't. Instead, she stepped closer, actually closer, invading my mom's space, pointing at the concentrator like it was some kind of joke. "People will bring anything on a plane now," she said, shaking her head. "How do we know that thing's even safe?" My mom froze. I felt it instantly. Her shoulders tightened. Her breathing went shallow. She hates attention. She hates confrontation. And this stranger was turning her medical device into a spectacle in front of a full gate of people. I told myself to stay calm. I explained clearly and politely that it was an FAA-approved oxygen concentrator, that we had clearance, that we were boarding early for medical reasons. I raised my voice. I didn't insult her. I just wanted it to end. She smiled wider. "Oh, please," she said, waving her hand. "I've flown for years. If everyone started bringing machines like that, flights would be chaos. You can't just claim medical and get special treatment." That word claim hit harder than I expected. Other passengers started watching. Some pretended not to listen, which somehow felt worse. My mom whispered my name under her breath the way she does when she's scared and trying not to show it. Her oxygen levels were dropping. I could hear the machine working harder. That's when Karen, because at this point there's no other name for her, laughed again. Honestly, she said loud enough for the gate agento here. "This looks suspicious. For all we know, it's not even medical. People fake things all the time. Suspicious." I felt my stomach drop because once that word's out there, things change. Security changes, tone changes, power shifts, and she knew it. The gate agent finally looked up. Not annoyed, not curious, concerned. "Is there a problem here?" the agent asked. Karen turned instantly polite, sweet voice, professional concern. "I'm just worried about safety. That device. Are you sure it should be on plane? It's making some people uncomfortable." My mom looked at me, eyes glassy, cheeks flushed. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. I could see exactly how shocked she was, not just by the accusation, but how easily this stranger dismissed her need to breathe as an inconvenience. I opened my mouth to respond, and that's when the agent looked directly at my mom's concentrator and did something none of us expected. The agent didn't answer Karen right away. Instead, she crouched down in front of my mom, not in a dramatic way, not rushed, just calm, practiced, and focused like someone who had done this 100 times and knew exactly what mattered. She asked my mom her name, asked how she was feeling, asked if she liked to sit while boarding continued. That alone seemed to irritate Karen more than anything else so far. "I'm fine," my mom said softly, even though she clearly wasn't. Her hand was trembling on the concentrator handle. The agent noticed immediately. She glanced at the screen, at the oxygen flow, then back at my mom's face. Her expression shifted, subtle, but real. Karen cleared her throat loudly. So, is the thing cleared or not? She asked, arms crossed again. Because some of you actually need to get on the plane on time. That's when the agent stood up. Yes, it's cleared, she said, calm, firm, no smile. And they'll be boarding first. Karen's eyebrows shot up. Excuse me. Passengers with medical needs board before general boarding, the agent repeated. That includes oxygen assistance. Karen laughed, but this time might sounded forced. Unbelievable. I pay for priority boarding. I fly every month. And now I'm being delayed because someone brought a machine that probably shouldn't even be here. I felt something snap. Not explosive, just cold. The kind-off anger that makes your hands steady instead of shaking. I told her she wasn't being delayed. I told her early boarding was announced before she even arrived at the gate. I told her my mom didn't choose this. She tilted her head and smirked. You don't know that, she said. People exaggerate all the time. The agent stepped between us physically, put her body in the space Karen kept trying to invade. Ma'am, she said, voice lower. Now I'm going to ask you to step back. Karen scoffed. Are you serious right now? Yes, the agent said. I am. People were fully watching now. No more pretending. A man across the gate shook his head. A woman mouthed something I couldn't hear, but I could guess. Karen noticed, too. Her posture stiffened like she just realized the room wasn't on her side anymore. But instead of backing down, she doubled down. I want a supervisor, she said loudly. This is discrimination. In being punished for asking a reasonable safety question. The agent nodded. I'll call one, she said. Then she turned back to my mom. In the meantime, let's get you seated. She walked us toward the morning lane. Karen actually followed. She stayed close, muttering just loud enough to be heard. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. This is what flying has become. We sat. My mom's breathing slowly steadied. She leaned into me and whispered, I'm sorry. That broke me more than anything Karen had said. The supervisor arrived a minute later. Middle-aged man, calm eyes, listening posture. Karen launched into her story. How she'd been concerned, how the device was alarming, how she'd been ignored. She never once mentioned laughing or pointing or accusing my mom of faking. When she finished, the supervisor turned to us. Before I could speak, the agent cut in. She accused a medically approved oxygen concentrator being suspicious. She laughed at the passenger. She escalated the situation after being asked to step back. Karen's face flushed. That's not what happened. The supervisor held up a hand. Ma'am, he said, we reviewed the device documentation when they checked in. Everything is approved. There is no safety issue. Karen exhaled sharply. Sod hats it. She just gets special treatment. No, he said, she gets medical accommodation. There was a pause, a long one. Then the supervisor added, and I'm concerned about your behavior. Karen blinked. My behavior? Yes, he said, laughing at a passenger's medical equipment and suggesting fraud is not acceptable. I saw it. Then the shift. The moment Karen realized this wasn't going her way, her voice rose. She talked faster. She gestured wildly. She said she was being targeted. She said people were too sensitive. She said she was going to file a complaint. The supervisor nodded again, calm, unmoved. Ma'am, he said, please step aside. We need to finish boarding these passengers. She refused. I'm not moving until someone explains why she gets to go first. Karen snapped, pointing at my mom again. The agent's jaw tightened. And that's when the supervisor leaned slightly closer to Karen and said something so quiet I almost missed it, but the look on Karen's face told me everything had just changed. The supervisor didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He didn't argue. He simply said, Ma'am, because of your behavior, you will not be boarding with this group. Please step aside now. For half a second, Karen laughed like this was all a misunderstanding. Like someone would jump in and back her up. No one did. The gate was silent except for the soft fume off my mom's oxygen concentrator. Yote Sampi serious, Karen said. I paid for this flight, and you're still scheduled to fly, the supervisor replied. If you cooperate. That word if it her late. She took one step back, then stopped. "This is unbelievable," she muttered. "I was just trying to help." The agent turned to my mom and smiled gently. "We're ready for you," she said. She walked us down the jet bridge personally, not rushed, not showy, just steady. As soon as we crossed the plane door, a flight attendant was waiting with a wheelchair and an open seat near the front. My mom was settled before general boarding even began. I thought that was the end of IT. IT wasn't. As I was stowing our bags, I heard raised voices outside the plane, sharp, panicked. Karen's voice. "I'm calm," she insisted. "I am calm. You're overreacting." Another agent replied, firm but controlled. "Ma'am, you were warned. Please step away from the gate." I peeked through the curtain. Karen was arguing again, hands waving, face red, voice loud enough to turn heads. She wasn't being escorted yet, but she was close. The supervisor was there again, standing beside an uniformed security officer now. "This is discrimination," Karen shouted. They delayed the flight. The supervisor shook his head. "No, ma'am. Your behavior did." That's when she lost it. She pointed toward the plane and yelled, "That woman shouldn't heaven be flying." Everything stopped. The security officer stepped forward. "That's Seno." Karen froze. Her mouth opened then closed. She looked around like she expected support. None came. Phones were out now. People watching openly, some shaking their heads. The supervisor spoke quietly to the officer. The officer nodded. "Ma'am, you're not boarding this flight." Karen laughed once more, thin, panicked. "You're kidding." "I'm not," he said. "You'll need to leave the gate area." Her face collapsed. Not into tears, into rage. She argued. She demanded names. She threatened lawsuits. It didn't matter. 2 minutes later, she was walking away fast, furious, alone, dragging Herculeon behind her like it weighed 100 B. The door closed. Inside the cabin, the tension lifted like someone opened a window. A woman across the aisle leaned over and whispered, "I'm glad they stood up for your mom." A man gave a small nod. Nothing dramatic, just quiet solidarity. My mom squeezed my hand. "Thank you," she said, voice steady now. During the flight, the lead flight attendant checked on her twice. Once to ask if she needed water. Once just to ask how she was feeling. No one stared, and no one questioned. It felt normal, safe. When we landed, something unexpected happened again. As we deplaned, the same gate agent from earlier was waiting. She smiled at my mom and handed her a small envelope. "Customer Relations asked me to give you this," she said. Inside was a handwritten note apologizing for the experience, and beneath it, clear as day, a permanent pre-check and priority boarding notation added to my mom's profile for future flights. So no one ever questions this again. My mom cried then, quietly the relieved kind. Karen never flew that day, or with us at least, but my mom did, and for the first time in a long time, she did it knowing she didn't have to explain why she deserved to breathe. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Every single subscription motivates me to bring you even more exciting and dramatic HOA stories. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. I'll see you in the next story where justice gets even more satisfying.